Me
Hi,
too.
Archie. We have to go take two. Hi, Archie.
Hi, aka Beb and Bob.
Okay, this is take two. We have already been talking about Jack's judo lesson when Miss Camp realized that I forgot to hit the record button again. So take two, and I will share the screen again. Okay. So where we left off, Jack was having his judo lesson, and the teacher was going to teach a new move called the Harry. Well, we weren't really sure how to say this. This is the Japanese, Harai Goshi, but it means the sweeping hip throw. The sweeping hip throw. And he said it's an excellent move that can have a number of results. So he, the teacher, got up, and with the help of Tim, a 13-year-old boy who sometimes assisted him or helped him, showed the class how it was done. When the demonstration was over, demonstration is when you show someone how to do something. When that was over, the instructor, who's the teacher, told everyone to find a partner. Well, Richard and Charlie nabbed each other first, and those are Jack's friends. So if Richard and Charlie are going to be partners, it leaves Jack without a partner, or at least he doesn't have one of his friends to be his partner. So this left Jack alone, but not for long. Charlotte, the girl with the orange belt, turned up in front of him almost instantly. And we can go back here and see that when the teacher was saying, hey, does anyone know of a way to get disqualified when you are in a match or a fight? The girl with the orange belt, it was a girl with an orange belt, had said, punching someone in the face. And she had said it with a smile on her face that was naughty. Naughty means mischievous, or kind of knowing that you're doing something you're not supposed to be doing. And so that had been her idea. And we know that the orange belt means that she's better than Jack, because he does not have his orange belt yet. And so her name is Charlotte. Okay, it says, Charlotte, the girl with the orange belt. And she says, want to be my partner? She asked. Well, Jack looked around for another partner. So no, he didn't really want to be her partner. But everyone had already paired up. A pair is two people. He never liked practicing with girls. He didn't like the thought of hurting them. Okay, he said reluctantly. Reluctantly means he really doesn't want to, but he can't come up with a reason to say no. So he's saying fine, but he's kind of slow about it. He's not sounding very excited. Shall we get started? Jack and Charlotte bowed to each other, because this is what you do at the beginning of, I don't know if
Taekwondo or judo.
With both?
Yes, Taekwondo too.
And I don't know if you call it a fight or a match when you are going to have an opponent, but you bow first. As Jack reached for Charlotte's sleeve, she, dun, 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 what? Oh my goodness, this doesn't look good. Jack looks upside down, and she has a big smile on her face, and he does not. He looks kind of like, what just happened? I can't believe he's upside down. Well, she moved quickly. She grabbed his right arm, twisted in toward his body, lifted him up on her back, then grabbed his trouser leg and threw him on the floor. Thwack. So this is definitely different from Taekwondo that uses more kicks. And this is what they call a throw. So she's throwing him down and he's landing on his back, it looks like. It says Jack's body hit the mat hard. He had never been thrown by a girl before. He looked up at Charlotte, who was standing above him, arms crossed. with one of those know-it-all grins on her face. We never like to see someone with a know-it-all grin on their face. It kind of sends the message of, ha, I know everything. Hopefully, his friends hadn't seen what happened. I think he's a little embarrassed. Pretending that it didn't bother him. Well, if he has to pretend that it didn't bother him, then it really did bother him. And he's just trying to look like it didn't. Jack got up and coolly said, I let you do that, right? You couldn't do it, really. I just let you do it. So he's trying to act very cool. Well, he and Charlotte faced each other for another match. Oh, now it tells us it's called a match. As they tidied their judogis, or their uniforms, Jack was going through the moves in his head. Just as they were about to begin, Mr. Baskin shouted for everyone to find a new partner. Phew! He doesn't have to have another match with the girl in the orange belt. Without saying a word, Charlotte flicked her ponytail and strutted off with her nose in the air. This girl is arrogant. She thinks that she's better than everyone else. She has some attitude. Before Jack could think about getting back at Charlotte, Adam stepped in front of him. He and Adam, this looks a little bit better for Jack anyway. Let's see. He and Adam were in the same class at school. The two of them bowed to each other. And after a pretty good wrestle, Jack threw Adam to the floor. Then they repeated the move and Jack let Adam do the same to him. So they each had a chance to try that new move, the hip throw, some kind of hip throw. They practiced over and over, so that by the end of that session, Jack was pretty good at performing the, here's that Japanese word again that Miss Camp can't say, harai goshi. Now all he had to do was find Charlotte again. I said he had, but that's not right. Remember the apostrophe D can be had or did or would. It says he'd throw her. I think that is he would. He would throw her this time around. Now remember the italics are a little bit harder to see in this book than in Jigsaw Jones, but this right here we can see is italics. So we will read this. He'd throw her this time round. But unfortunately, that wasn't going to happen, at least not today. Gather up, yelled Mr. Baskin, motioning for everyone to sit in front of him in a row. So here they are. Here's Jack in the front. Jack and the rest of the students sat on their heels across from Mr. Baskin, who congratulated them on their hard work. As soon as they were dismissed, Jack, Richard, and Charlie gathered up their things and walked outside. While they were waiting for their moms, they talked about lots of things, like whether they were going to enter the next judo competition. Richard was, Charlie wasn't, and Jack thought he might. When Jack's mom pulled up, Jack said goodbye to his friends and climbed into the car, which was filled with groceries, which would be food for the house. When he got home, he helped his mom put away the food and then played a car racing game on his Xbox. Sometime after dinner, he kissed his mom goodnight. His dad was working all weekend again and made his way upstairs to his room. And here goes Jack running to the next page. You know what happens after dinner once he gets to his room. And there's a sign on the door that says, "Keep out." As he got to his door, Jack flipped the sign outside to keep out. Although he loved his mom, he didn't want her just barging in. That means coming in without knocking or without permission. After all, top secret stuff happened in there, and it was nearly 7:30 p.m. In Taiwan, we would say 1930. You put 2 dots in there like that. Okay. Chapter 2, the deer-shaped country. And there's a panda bear, or a panda, a giant panda. As soon as Jack shut the door, he looked over at his miniature globe. Miniature means small size. Whizzy, that's the name of his globe, who was fast asleep. Now remember, this is a magic globe, which means it can sleep. It's not something that we would have in real life. For some reason, seeing Whizzy like this made Jack think about the time they first met. It was at the GPF swearing in ceremony when Jack officially became a secret agent. So Jack's first day on the job as a secret agent was when he first met Whizzy, and he's remembering that. So what happened on that first day is that Ms. Pembroke, the lady in charge of globe selection, told Jack to pick one from a long table of globes. As Jack walked by, he noticed that each had a name like Zippy or Zoom. When he came to a little globe called Whizzy, he stopped and leaned in for a closer look. Okay, remember, this is his memory of the first day he met Whizzy. As he did so, the globe smiled, lifted his eyebrows, and winked at Jack. That's when you close just one eye like this. That's a wink. Did you see it? I'll do it one more time. Here I go. That's a wink. That's another one. That's another one. I can only wink with this eye. I cannot wink with this eye. I can only close this eye and leave this one open. I can't do it the other way. Thinking he was cute, Jack picked him up and turned to Ms. Pembroke. "I'll have this one," he said. And that's how Whizzy came to be in Jack's house that night. So here we can see Jack looking at the different miniature globes. This one was Zippy and this one was Zoom. And here's Whizzy. You can see right there, he has one eye closed, so he's winking. Jack walked over to his friend just as the time on his watch phone ticked over to 7:30 p.m. Almost instantly, Whizzy's eyes popped open. When he saw Jack, he winked and began to spin. Jack watched as the globe twirled even faster. After a few seconds, Whizzy coughed. A jigsaw piece in the shape of a country flew out of his mouth. Jack rushed over to pick it up. Whizzy, exhausted from the exercise, exhausted means very tired, fell asleep again. This jigsaw puzzle piece, looks like a deer with 2 antlers, thought Jack as he studied the piece in his hand. Now, let's see where it fits. Jack carried the piece over to his magic map. The magic map on his bedroom wall had over 150 countries carved into its special wood. When Jack put the jigsaw piece from Whizzy's mouth in the right, here goes Jack running to the next page, in the right spot, the magic map transported him to his next mission. Transported means it takes him there. Starting in the upper left corner of the map, Jack slid the piece over every lump and bump. When he crossed over the continent of Europe and passed into the continent of Asia, the piece snapped into place. The word China appeared, then quickly vanished. So here we can see Jack with the magic map. And here we can see him putting the piece for China onto the map. And we can also see where Taiwan is. Do you see it?
Yes, there.
Is that this one right here?
Yes, and Japan. I saw Japan.
Yeah. So here's Japan. And they have not split up Korea here. This part down here is South Korea. Okay. So looks like he's going to China. I can't believe it, said Jack. I'm going to China. Ever since he and his parents started eating at the local Chinese restaurant, Jack had been interested in the food and language of that country. Knowing that many people in China didn't speak English, Jack figured he needed his secret language decoder. Punching the C button on his watch phone, he called up the code of the day. Ooh. The code, after receiving the word D-U-M-P-L-I-N-G, or, do you know what that word is?
Dumpling.
Dumpling. He typed it into the lock on his special book bag and waited for it to snap open. When it did, he checked the contents inside. That would be what is inside his backpack. Sure enough, his secret language decoder was there, as were his magic key maker, motion sensor, and net tosser. Pretty cool tools and gadgets. Closing his bag, Jack slipped his arms through the straps and tightened them over his shoulders. Standing before the magic map, he looked at the country of China. Here he runs to the next page. Inside, a small orange light began to glow. It grew until it lit up his entire room, the whole room. When the time was right, Jack yelled, "Off to China!" Then the light flickered and burst and swallowed him into the magic map. There he goes into the magic map. This is the magic part of the story. How long is it going to take him to get back?
1 minute.
1 minute for his
Or
mom.
1 second.
I think it's 1 minute for his mom, but for him, when he's in China, we have no idea how long he will be in China for.
Maybe 1 year or 1 day.
I don't know. Chapter 3 is called The Misty Forest. So we can just read a little bit of it. When Jack opened his eyes, he found himself standing in the middle of a big forest covered in mist and filled with tall stalks of green bamboo. Jack knew that bamboo was a type of grass, not a tree. I didn't know that. And that it grew in most parts of Asia. Mist is kind of like steam that comes off the ground. It looks like fog or cloudiness, but it's kind of right above you might see it right above the water or right above the grass that has dew on it. So you might see it in the early morning. In his GPF training, he had learned about the wonders of bamboo. It was light, yet strong enough to make lots of things, including rafts. It could float and ladders. Inside the stalk were tiny worms that could be eaten if you needed food. Jack had tasted a bamboo worm once. Surprisingly, it didn't taste like a worm, but like peanut butter, one of Jack's favorite foods. Knowing about bamboo was an important skill if you were on assignment in Asia. All right, this is where we're going to stop for today. Did you know that there are worms inside of bamboo?
Yes, maybe yes or maybe not. I don't know.
I
Yes,
can't believe there's a worm inside of bamboo that tastes like peanut butter.
I didn't hear that before.
All right. Time to say so long for today. And tomorrow we will get to find out what Jack sees in China and how does he find out what his mission is? How does he find out what he's supposed to do there? I don't think he knows. All right. So long, Archie.